Shalom, shalom, guys, and good morning. It is Thursday, October the 18th, 2018. It is the 9th day of the 7th Hebrew month, the 9th day of the 7th Hebrew month. And of course, tonight, as the sun goes down at evening, at the 9th day of even, tonight, Yom Kippur begins, and it goes until Friday night as the sun sets. And of course, that will begin Shabbat. So first, we'll start off with this again. Again, if you're 100% committed to going to this event on November 9th in front of the White House, send me your email. My email is in the links below the video, and I'll add you to the private email list where we're discussing the details of where we're meeting and all that good stuff. Hallelujah. And don't forget about the White House petition. It's also in the links below the video. You don't have to be in the United States to sign it, but you do have to click the verification email for your signature to be counted. And then, don't forget this, which starts tonight, and we're actually going to be having a meeting on Zoom on Friday morning, because this whole Yom Kippur thing goes from tonight until Friday night. So we're going to be starting this tonight, and then Friday morning, for those who want to join, 8 a.m. Alaska time, 9 a.m. West Coast time, 10 a.m. Mountain time, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern, I'll be having a Zoom room, and you have to email me and send me your email address, and I can send you a link the morning of Friday the 19th, just before we start that Zoom meeting. We'll be praying about all the issues that I brought up in last night's video, those 5 issues, but mainly about this right here that this sign says. Hallelujah. Okay, so we'll get right into it. So a lot of people don't know that the CIA, not only has it been a child sex trafficking front since its inception, but it also is very much a part of the deep state's depopulation agenda. A lot of the psych medications kill people even more than decades of war. There's a lot of different layers of why the CIA needs to be destroyed. In fact, I was reminded of this by a person who put a comment recently on one of my videos. I think it was this morning. And so the CIA operates in this way and really pushes the whole psychiatry. Well, what a lot of people don't know, and why the CIA pushes psychiatry so much throughout our culture, is that Sigmund Freud himself, who's sort of considered the modern day father of psychiatry, he was a pedophile. And I'm going to put a link to this article. It's a very exhaustive article. I encourage you all to read it, because it not only explores Sigmund Freud's defense of being a pedophile, but also all these other things that he was involved in that are just horrific. But Sigmund Freud, I'm going to highlight this section of the article. It says, defender of child molestation. As Freud embarked on the journey of psychoanalysis, he came across numerous cases of so-called hysterical individuals that showed alarming symptoms and behaviors in adult age. Unsurprisingly, most of his patients in the mid-1890s reported early childhood sexual abuse. Initially, he proposed that most mental illnesses were related to early sexual abuse, known as the seduction theory. But a couple of years later, he took a 180-degree turn and instead concluded that his patients' memories of sexual abuse were mere fantasies and completely made up. The new theory instead was named infantile sexuality. He actually seriously presented a theory where the cause was not adults preying on children, but that the child itself is lusting over his or her parents and seeking bodily sexual pleasure thereof. I mean, just sick. So instead of blaming the adult who's the pedophile, they blame the child for being sexually attracted. I love what Tiffany says on Twitter, Tiffany Fitzhenry, a child is not a sexual being. A child is not a sexual being. This is just so sick. Sigmund Freud, ugh. All right, I'll continue here. As the Internet Encyclopedia of Psychology describes it, from his account of the instincts or drives, it followed that from the moment of birth, the infant is driven in his actions by the desire for bodily sexual pleasure. That's such a lie. Where this is seen by Freud in almost mechanical terms as the desire to release mental energy. Initially, infants gain such release and derive such pleasure from the act of sucking. So now they're perverting, a mother nursing the child Freud accordingly terms this the oral stage of development. This is followed by a stage in which the locus of pleasure or energy release is, this is so sick, is the anus, particularly in the act of defecation, and this is accordingly termed the anal stage. This is from Sigmund Freud, folks. Then the young child develops an interest in its sexual organs as a site of pleasure, the phallic stage, and develops a deep sexual attraction for the parent of the opposite sex and a hatred of the parent of the same sex, the Oedipus complex. Yeah, really good foundation. Root yourself in Greek mythology. Good job, Freud. So the kids are fantasizing sexually over their parents, and that's why they have distress in adult age. Oh, that's why. Talk about gaslighting. It's just disgusting. So Sigmund Freud, who I guarantee you will be resurrected at the second death and cast into the lake of fire along with the devil and his fallen angels, he's the father of all this psychiatry that's being promoted by the CIA right now. And make no mistake, the CIA is behind just totally pouring out this horrible psychiatry, psychology crap that just fills our culture in the schools, in the colleges, throughout our medical facilities, mental institutions. I remember even myself when my ex-wife was trying to get my children away from them, they were trying to get me to go see these ungodly psychiatrists and psychologists, and they were trying to, say, oh, he has a narcissistic personality disorder. Thankfully, Yah provided an actual person who, she wasn't even a Christian. She was just a state licensed psychologist, and I voluntarily went to go see her, and she carefully journaled me over a whole year. And she actually declared under testimony, under oath in a courtroom, said Daniel has absolutely no mental illnesses. Of course, the judge wound up dismissing that testimony, which is unbelievable. But anyway, so there are a few good ones out there that y'all can use. But by and large, this whole psychology, psychiatry thing, it's a bunch of garbage. And it's just being used to kill people. I mean, to basically get people to get onto psychotropic drugs. But also, it's being used, this is the defense. And I've heard this. I've heard this from, and I forget who, but right now in modern times, within the last couple of years, there have been people who are pedophiles that have been starting to suggest that, oh, it's not really our fault for having sex with the children. It's actually the child's fault. The child needs this. The child wants this. That is so disgusting. And this is why every satanic pedophile that's out there, whether you're someone famous or you're just someone with your own children, you need to be publicly executed. You need to be tried, convicted, and under the rule of law, publicly executed. All right, I will post this link under Sigmund Freud, about Sigmund Freud under this video, and you can read also about all this other stuff that is about him. I mean, he was an addict. He had issues with women. He was an avid drug user. Serious, hardcore drugs. It's just, just say no to psychology. If you like what I'm doing, if you defend what I'm doing, if you enjoy me doing this as I'm exposing these satanic pedophiles throughout DC, throughout Hollywood, throughout America, protecting our innocent children and our babies, and also with the hopes of being able to quit my full-time job and go full-time preaching, then my PayPal link is right below this video. You can send me a donation. I got a link to my Patreon page where you can pledge your monthly support. I got a link to, I have a P.O. box that you can send support to me as well. My email address is there for correspondence. My gracious assistant Kathy has set up an alternative YouTube channel where you can hit a playlist and watch my videos in chronological order. I got all sorts of links down there. I just realized I've never put my link to my Twitter. I do have a Twitter that I post quite often on, so I'll try to make sure I remember to put my Twitter link as well going forward. Of course, don't forget about that link of the White House petition, and remember that tonight starts a Sabbath, and it's a double Sabbath because we got tonight through Friday night as the high Sabbath, Yom Kippur, where I will be doing an Esther fast, no food or water for that whole 24-hour period. And then, of course, Friday night, when we break the fast, we got a Shabbat. So for the next 2 days, starting tonight, I will not be making any videos on pedophiles or pedophilia or anything like that, or news stories. It'll be basically scriptural stuff. And, of course, as we are praying and fasting and breaking through, tearing down these spiritual high places to see our babies and our children and our teenagers set free, and hopefully this whole human trafficking thing come crashing down. Hallelujah. I love you guys, and shalom, shalom.